We need to talk.
It's my art!
Alright, people, there's a lot to get through, so we're gonna hop straight into this. Demoniacal Fit is up first. In this screenshot, this person say, Mama-san, is Dragon Fist coming out this year? If you don't know what they're referring to, it's a Super Saiyan 3 Goku that comes with a Dragon Fist accessory, which is basically like a statue. I'm pretty sure they copied one of those statues, one of those Bandai statues, but either way, they put it in the packaging, 3.0 mold and everything. They're saying it should come out. Now, time will tell the tale. I'm not gonna, go in on DF like that, because other third parties have been, like HM and Air Studios, are kind of doing the same thing as DF, just showing a bunch of stuff and being very slow to release stuff. But, time will tell the tale. On to the next thing. So now we're on a Hobby Model Store's Instagram, and we have the K.W.STUDIO Perfect Cell figure. And yeah, one thing that's so cool about third party, I have to say, and while I talk, I'm gonna just swipe through the pictures real quick. We're gonna go to Burst CG's page to get a better look, or I think I have the picture saved to get a better look at those faces. But dealing with third party is so cool, because stuff that's straight out of memes or artwork from the fandom can sometimes get put into a figure. This is things that you would never really get. Now, more often than not, I think most people won't care about these things, but it's just so cool to see, like, just made in figure format. But as you can see, the one main head that, like this head, like I remember seeing this artwork oh so long ago. And I remember, I think I posted it in my Insta story on my Instagram, BombasticPlastic Instagram. Somebody said it was cursed, but it's cool to see, you know. Now it looks like you're getting roughly like a regular version, as you can see right here, or maybe that picture's cut off. But getting two different variants, of course. One is supposed to represent the anime colors, and one is supposed to represent the manga colors. You know, the seams in between, like the waist and where his legs connect to his torso. And the anime version is purple, and the manga version is blue. Get the picture. Battle damage. They even have the battle damage thing that our studio is doing. Yeah, and then I guess here's the bonus. You get the cicada bug thing that Cell hatched out of. Get that the larval form, as he called it. And then it looks like you get a screaming Team Gohan face, I'm guessing. Like after this, he has his eyes closed. Is that like after what you call it? Goku teleported Cell off. That face is supposed to be. But either way, this is looking pretty good, and it also gives collectors another chance to actually get a hold of this, because we know that red ribbon, that RR Studio Cell damn near vanished in the blink of an eye, you know. But with that being said, let's move forward. Oh yeah, and here's just like that quick. I almost forgot to show y'all like another look at those KW head sculpts. Now they look like they could use, some of those faces look like they could definitely use some work. Funny enough, I think the fan-made face is one of the best faces. I'm not gonna say it is definitive the best, but definitely up there as one of the best. At least what we've seen thus far. I think adjustments and stuff can always be made. And by the way, last third-party roundup, I was talking about RR Studios goofy faces, but my slow ass, I was like, yo, like these faces look goofy. I don't know, but the crown, the brow ridge of the crown part is supposed to come down over the eye, and so a whole bunch of the eyes are going to be covered up. Why they did it that way, I don't know. I guess, you know, I guess it helps, but I would think they would just make separate head sculpts, or like everything as one head sculpt. But you know, either way, yeah, I just wanted to say that. On to the next thing. Redo. Okay, real quick lightning round with Ari Custom. We have what looks to be a faceplate for Super Saiyan Vegeta, more specifically when he shot the Big Bang attack at Android 19. I'm guessing this will be included with that Vegeta head sculpt that I covered in the last video, but also in the comment section there was a particular... Let me just go. Oh, I have it right here. Ari Custom. Goku Super Saiyan 3, Vegeta Super Saiyan 3 Doublehead will be released soon. So, we didn't have a Vegeta Super Saiyan 3 from him before, so this is going to be interesting to see how that comes out, for sure. But this quick lightning round with this. On to the next thing.
That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
Alright, so I know a lot of y'all was waiting for this particular part, and there's still a lot of stuff to go through, so stay tuned, right? Tonsen Studio has been dissolved, and thank you for your support and companionship. Now, in my Instagram story for BombasticPlastic, I said, y'all know I'm going to talk about this. And here I am, going to talk about it. And it's very simple. I do not think this is something to worry about, but this is me speculating, okay? There's nothing confirmed about this, but I'm thinking this is going to end up being a rebrand, much like how Beast Deities did a rebrand, you know? I don't think there's a lot to worry about, but one of the things that led me to kind of think this is something, well, some of the Tonsen stuff that's been shown off recently. Like, it was a boom of Tonsen news recently, and we're about to get into that. So, as I was just saying, I don't think this is going to be a full-on, like, completely, we'll never hear from Tonsen again type of thing. But I do definitely think that this will be a rebrand for Tonsen. For this manga volume 18 cover Goku. Here's like one of the prototype faceplates. You know, not everything is completely done yet. You can see the eye decals have been put on. Especially with this mass printing right here. Same thing here. Of course, a better look at it with the head. Looks great for that art style for back then. Goku holding the water bottle. And there's even more stuff that we're going to look at. But the main thing I want to point out, like after this boom of Tonsen news so shortly afterwards, they now come into the decision that they're going to dissolve. I don't think this was just an overnight decision is what I'm trying to get at. They already knew. So why let all this news just come out about all this stuff if they were truly dissolving? You get where I'm going with it? And then there's one other thing. Tonsen copied another third party in terms of the method of how they're going about, you know, doing these figures. And we're going to get into that next. Now this right here, before we get into that thing where I said they copied the other third party, here are your two color options I'm thinking that Tonsen is going to go with. The original colors, which is, you know, the yellow pants, the orange shoes with the blue purplish vest, and then you're going to have the one with the orange vest and, you know, the red bike. Because that's one of the new things that we saw, a red bike. And, you know, here's the initial render, white bike, right? You know, here's some more looks at the head sculpt. Shout out to that person who left that watermark, whoever you are. And there we go with the red bike right here. Same person, same watermark. So those two versions I'm sure are going to come out. Now, oh yeah, also another thing. Where people going to ask, where can you pre-order this? Now, Tonsen primarily works with Anime Store. But of course, you'll always be able to find third-party stuff on AliExpress. That's pretty much, it's low-key the go-to spot, but people feel like, you know, sites like 5K Toys sometimes and Anime Store, they feel more secure with them, I guess, because of their, I don't know. I honestly don't know. But, yeah, this is some of the stuff that they showed off. Now, right here we have that, if for some people that may be new, this is where whoever, one of the people at Tonsen's studio, or that work, that make the projects basically, is showing that the bike is actually metal. Alright, we've seen enough. But basically the gist is that, yo, the bike is made out of metal, and you know, whenever we get metal without action figures, whether it's one of those robots with die cast or something, you know, that's adds a level of premiumness to it. But on to the main thing I was talking about. Sorry for the... Okay, so what we have is, you know, the number one baseball player in the world right here. And, you know, if If you've noticed anything very familiar with this method of doing things, very reminiscent of Beast Deity's anime mythos, right? You have the #1 baseball player right here. You have all his faceplates, and you know, he comes with a bike. That's just how intense he is. He bikes to the games. He's a whole professional baseball player with a humongous salary, but he's so intense he decides to bike to the games, you know? Totally not Goku. But yeah, that's pretty much the gist of why I think it's gonna be a rebrand. I think the rebrand may be, who knows, thematically around baseball, who knows? But with that being said, or maybe it's just this particular product, this specific release, right? But with that being said, I'm gonna move on to the next company. But yeah, I would say don't worry your head too much about Tonsen now. Ultimately, it could end up being that it's truly dissolved, and I could be completely wrong, but I'm doubtful. On to the next thing. Oh yeah, so here's another look at the Tonsen, you know, the Goku. And here's another reason why, like, I don't think, this is just adding more reason onto why I don't think that, you know, Tonsen is completely gone. I think at the very, very least, this project will be released because it is extremely far along in terms of the process. They even doing like an articulation demonstration to show you what you're going to get. So, once again, just adding on to why I'm just thinking it's most likely just a rebrand. Now, is that guaranteed? No. But, you know, keep that in mind. Back to the Hobby Model Store Instagram, and we have more updates from HOOM. We haven't seen some updates from their Super Saiyan 3 head sculpt in a while, and one thing that something that was explained to me is that the original HOOM sculptor, or the original person behind this particular sculpt, is actually no longer working on it, but the people that are working on this is still keeping the name HOOM. So the original HOOM is gone, but they kept the name for whatever reason. Don't ask me why, don't ask me how. I'm not a mind reader. I don't know why they did that, but you know, I guess it's to keep the recognizability. You gotta get what I'm trying to say, of HOOM for the people that already know him instead of starting from scratch, you know? But yeah, some of this stuff looks like it could use some work. I think that nose sculpt in particular, everything is looking pretty good. That nose sculpt looks a bit soft, but you know, there's still plenty of time to change things around and update things of that nature. On to the next thing. So now we on 5K Toys Instagram page, and here's a small update for their the anime Mythos Super Saiyan 4 Vegetos. They're saying, reposted from Chinese social media, it says pre-order opens before May 1st. 3 sets. So we see 2 sets right here. We see, of course, the Xeno version from Dragon Ball Heroes. But we also get what looks to be like a GT variant of, well, it would have to be GT, because that's when Super Saiyan 4 appeared, unless it was a Daima Vegeto, but clearly by the silhouette, it is not. And also the pictures that we saw in the last roundup, it's definitely not. So be on the lookout for that, because we like halfway through the month, and they said before May 1st, so it could be this last week of this month, you know. I'm sure the third version will probably be the Limit Breaker Super Saiyan 4 Vegeto, but you know, we'll see. Time will tell the tale. On to the next thing.
We interrupt this program to bring you
shipping updates from 5K Toys. So just real quick, I wanted to put this little nugget in here, since I'm on the 5K Toys Instagram page anyways, but we're gonna get back to the anime mythos stuff. 5K Toys says, you know, many of you may have noticed that the recent fluctuations in import duties. We know times like this can bring uncertainty, but through it all, your trust and support have meant everything to us. It is because of you that we're still here, doing what we love, and doing our best to keep things fair and steady. So here's what we're doing now. 1. For all items already pre-order but not yet shipped, no matter how much duties increase, we'll cover the extra costs. Your prices stay the same, no changes. So, you know, anybody that was worried about, you know, stuff increasing astronomically, even more on 5K toys, you don't gotta worry about it. For upcoming product not yet open for pre-order, we've created a reserve list. Items we have already ordered from distributors based on past demand. Once duties stabilize, we'll open orders and post updates. You can view the reserve list via our homepage. Okay, so just go on that homepage, you know, and find it. But yeah, that's the main thing I wanted to say. And here's how it looks when you go to the homepage. They circled and highlighted everything for you. But yeah, I just wanted to tell y'all that real quick since I was already here. And on to the next thing. So sticking with Mythos Anime, and you know, it's something a little different right here, right? We'll be here, somebody calling ISO on this old Kong release. This is like the beginning of K.W.STUDIO first releases. They're either in search of or they're trying to sell this for this much. I don't really know. But either way, Jason responds, crazy. You can just wait till next year for the 3.0 Ultra Ego ones and other variants. Now, based off of that sentence alone, I'm gonna assume that one of the variants will have this type of battle damage, and 2, they saying other variants though. The Ultra Ego could have a couple different variants. He could have the Buu Saga fit. He could have, which could also double as a Majin Vegeta. You know how Beast Deities do, they sell you the same figure and then, you know, different heads and whatnot. And then of course, I'm guessing a Blue Evolution Vegeta. We'll see which variants it is in particular. I'm pretty sure like this one is a given right here. Like an updated version of it, of course. But yeah, that's just something, you know, little nugget of information to hold on to. On to the next thing. Okay, so Red Bolt x Lionheart Studio Wave 2, they said Fenrir is open to reissue. It says Fenrir is under the reissue consideration. If it moves forward, the timeline will likely be Q3 of 2025 to Q1 of 2026. We'll share more updates as things progress. So you guys keep that in mind. Now, this is in retaliation to the next studio we're going to talk about, which we kind of had this retaliation in the last third-party roundup. So you guys might already have an idea what it's about. So now we on the Action Figure Investigators page, aka Burst DG, and this is what that last post was in response to Viking Studio saying that they're gonna release this Broly figure. Now, who are they? Who knows? But it's another studio threatening to re-release a product that Mythos Anime has already released, you know? And so Mythos Anime seems to take that very personal, and they're like, no, not on my watch. I'll re-release the shit and undercut you before I let you make a dime off of me. I'd rather that worm come in here right now and eat you all alive. That's the type of, you know, timing that Anime Mythos is on, if you got that reference. But either way, on to the next thing. So now we are on to HMStudio. Now we're on a Hobby Model Store Instagram page, and you might have seen these pictures before. We're going to just breeze through them because HMStudio is going crazy with this whole Vegito head sculpt thing. But here we have, of course, a more translucent, I'm guessing, version of the Super Saiyan Blue Vegito head sculpt that they had already released. Yelling face, gritting teeth face, and then of course a stern, serious face looking downward. And then also you get a Super Saiyan variant, but that's not all. So this is something that's more up my alley. I don't think this will be everybody's cup of tea, but hypotheticals and what ifs, yo, if that's my favorite thing. That's why, you know, I'm into like the fan mangas, and I'll keep up with stuff like that. But sorry for the volume rocker on the screen. But either way, Ultra Instinct Vegito. This is something I'll definitely get. Like I said, I like the hypotheticals and the what ifs, you know. And this is perfectly up my alley. I'd have a across the Vegito verse picture, a series of pictures. If and when I get this, you know. But this is not the only head sculpts that HM have come up with for Vegito. They kind of went balls to the wall with it. Like here's yet another example: Super Saiyan God Vegito. Matter of fact, I'm not gonna lie, Super Saiyan God. This might be my favorite Super Saiyan God. Like out of all the characters that we've seen in Super Saiyan God, this might be my favorite one in terms of the contrast of the red hair to the outfit, or all the different colors. You know, I just like how it all like fits together. You know, but once again, this is not all. HM is gonna ride the wheels of this head sculpt till it fall off. You don't have to adjust your screen. And I know some of y'all are like, who asked for this? But I love the wacky and weird side of Dragon Ball. That stuff that's like too over the top. Like, yo, you didn't need to do this. Like, we didn't need this. But as you can see, Vegito Beast, it's so silly. But I like shit like this. My bad. I like stuff like this. You know, base hair Vegito. You know, we've seen this before. Maybe we didn't see the winking face, but we've seen this before. UI Sign Vegito, Ultra Instinct Omen Vegito, whichever one you prefer, and of course Ultra Ego Vegito. And funny enough, depending on like if you got the Ultra Instinct and you got this, you could do the Ultra Vegito. But truth be told, they could do that as a whole separate head sculpt if they wanted. But I don't know if they're gonna do all that. But it'll be better than buying two head sculpts just to do the Ultra Vegito. And then, with the Beast, I would think that the hair would be longer, you know? So, like I said, this is more of a thing that I'm into. I'm sure most are not going to be really super into this type of thing. But, I like my what-if scenarios and I like the fan fiction. On to the next one. I really couldn't remember if I covered this last video or if this came out just a little bit afterwards, but that's like a random set of Gogeta head sculpts, just like renders, just appeared out of nowhere. But here we have, and it's from a new studio, ZH Studio. I think the faces look pretty damn good. It's the hair that looks a little iffy to me, but it's not terrible, but definitely something that can be improved upon. But as you can see, you get the blue variant, regular Super Saiyan variant, and of course the base here. When will this actually come out? Who knows? I'm sure they'll pop up at some point once we've forgotten about it, like months and months down the road. Who knows, right? But yeah, I think this pretty much wraps it up for the video. I don't know why my voice changed, but this pretty much wraps it up for the video. Not a whole lot else to talk about. I always say this, and then overtime. Let's hope there's no overtime this time. But for all this being said, this has been Bombastic Plastic. Stay fantastic. Have a blessed day.